Howdy peeps, hope you're doing well. So, I'm not exactly recapping on previous videos on this one, at least I don't think I am, just double checking. Now see, the last one was that hive mind video, see that's what I'm talking about. People in the hive mind, they're too busy following the crowd and not gathering their own information. Which is ironic. It's ironic I should say such a thing given the topic of this video. I am digressing back on the whole thing to do with relationships, in this case from a man's perspective on a relationship with women, or potentially for a woman. Now I'm sure you've all been, if you've been in a dating game for any length of time, you'll be perfectly aware of the dating apps and how people come across on these dating apps, or at least how they present themselves to be. So I want to tell you all a little story, right? This is a true story, this actually happened. Because I found it ever so entertaining. It's like, wow. It's like some of these chicks just bury themselves, right? So obviously it's that thing, and if you are using dating apps, regardless of your height, your status, your build and all of that, right, dating apps for guys are probably the most depressing place to be. Right? I'm saying that for what it is. As a guy that doesn't meet the majority of the requirements for the average woman, or the modern woman should I say, not the average woman, the modern woman. Because you see, with that I'm an average guy, right? I mean, I'm not by a lot of standards, but as far as they see it, because I'm not meeting the criteria that these self-imposed ideals of what they expect from a guy, that they think the guy should meet before they even have any sort of, air quotes, privilege of meeting a woman. So I've seen this is a while ago now, by the way, but I've seen this profile, and there wasn't a lot on there to really go by, but there was a few nice pictures. And I mean, talk about deceit from the get-go, right? Because obviously you put in there if you've got kids, if you want kids, if, you know, or any of that, if you don't want kids. So, this chick hadn't put in there anything about kids. I thought, well, she looks alright. You know, like you do, you're flicking through the pictures, you're looking through the profile, not a lot to read about on this person. I'm sort of thinking, well, maybe it's a good thing. At least they haven't sat there and blatantly lied about themselves or something, right? I was like, okay, they said much. So rather than just swiping right and hoping for the best, I sent them a message and then swiped right, just to see what would happen. And it was funny because at the time I didn't think for a second that this person would be interested in me. Anyway, we'll get into that in a bit. So a few days passed, and then eventually I got a message back from this person. I thought, oh, okay. And they had logged in, so obviously where you send a message and it's got their little profile picture or whatever, then a little online status next to it. I could see that she was online. I couldn't tell you if she'd read it or not, but, you know, I think she had. After a few days, she sent a message back to me, taking the piss out of my goatee, right? And I'm like, oh, right, okay then, fair enough. Let's have a little giggle about that then. So I was giving it the banter back and forth, and as the sort of time progressed, this is all in one evening, by the way. So when I say as the time progressed, I mean like literally a couple of hours. She sent me her phone number and a message below it that said, call me, I'm in the bath. I'm like, I saw it and I thought to myself, well, surely you'd want to finish your bath first, you know, you get out of that and get yourself sorted out and just, you know, just be at chill, be at chill with yourself, sit down and have a conversation. No. So anyway, I phoned her up, and we got to chatting, and the first thing she was doing was which is sort of like, even that I didn't quite know how to take, right? It's like, for someone that you're talking to for the first time, this chick was letting them rip in the bath. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the polite word for it. Is it flatulence? It might be flatulence. Right? She was farting in the bath, basically, and asking me if I knew what the sound was. And so, of course I know what the fucking sound is. It's like, really? Dumb bitch. She was a dumb bitch, actually. Anyway, so eventually we got onto the topic of past relationships and all of this, and obviously it came out that, or she made apparent that she had a kid. And this is a funny thing, because it just, it's not like new news or something like that, right? But she was sort of pointing out that, oh yeah, if you want a relationship, then the kids come, my kid comes first. If you want, just to date me and stuff like that, then the kid still just comes first. And if you just want, a bit of the old bedroom action, you just want to mess about, then still the kid comes first, sort of thing. And I was thinking to myself, this is on the first date, and not even on the first date, sorry, this is on the first phone call, getting to know someone, right? And I'm thinking to myself, this is after as well. This is after she'd gone on pardon me, after she'd gone about, oh yeah, I want to get off this dating app, and oh, I can't find no man, I can't find a decent man, and all this. And I'm sat there and I'm listening to her, and I'm like, you wonder why? You actually, for real, like you're actually serious. You can't figure out what could potentially be wrong with giving someone your phone number, which is fine if you want them to get in touch, right? That's a normal thing to do. You get them to phone you up when you're in the bath, and then you proceed to fart in the bath, which, alright, you can say it might be quite funny, but at the same time, it's like first impressions, right? It's like you're not going to be thinking, what the fuck, like, at least get to know someone first, so you know what type of person you're dealing with, right? Whether that's the sort of thing that they would potentially take offence to, or whether they could have a laugh with or something, right? And so with that, she's like, well, I can't remember what she said. It's just yeah, it's like, the kid comes first, and it's sort of like, on the first date, you've already told someone who might have otherwise been interested, did she not have kids? Just saying. And that thing is to here's why, having boundaries for those of you that don't have them, or maybe you're a bit too forgiving or something. It's that priority, right? And whereas you're not going to be a priority for this person, they've already stated that the kid comes first, which is fine, right? You'd expect that in a relationship with a single parent, right? They're going to put their kids first, unless they're a shit parent. But already they're not on a par. And then you've got that whole time serves loyalty that I've spoken about. People that have been friends for a long time. People that they consider to be their nearest and dearest. So it might go along the lines of, the kid will come first, then possibly family, then the friends. And if there's a pet there, you can throw that in there. And I've spoken about this before in the past, right? But this is just it. And you've got to ask yourself, it's like, do you really want to go into that scenario? And whereas you're having to build your way up from the bottom, hoping that you can be the one that outshines, that you can be that person that is going to be there for, like, through thick and thin, despite the fact that they've already placed you at the bottom of that priority list, at the bottom of the hierarchy. And then, like I say, to actually be told that before you've even gone on a date with someone, and it's sort of like, are you stupid? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. It's like, are you stupid, love? It's like, yeah, I already know these things, right? And whereas your position in that priority list, as a single guy getting involved with a single parent, right, or a single mum, you already know you're somewhere down the bottom anyway. And so anyway, she's like, she wanted to progress it, and I was just fucking having none of it. I was just like, just no. Because, I mean, talk about blowing yourself out of the equation, right? The fact that, in fact, for starters, the fact that she hadn't mentioned that she had kids, but she knew this was a drawback, you see. She's probably thinking along the lines of, oh, well, if I don't tell them until sort of thing, it's like, that's dishonesty straight away. That's lies, that's deceit, like, don't do that. It just makes matters worse. And at the same time, I kind of find it not funny, haha, although sometimes a little bit funny, haha, is these are the same types that complain that they can't find a decent guy, but it's like they're not a decent person to begin with. It's like, why would a decent guy want to get someone like that? It's like they wouldn't. Why should any self-respecting man lower his standards for the sake of someone that is gonna not be totally truthful with them, for want of not saying blatantly deceitful, to then be told that they're somewhere down the bottom of the priority list? It's like, no self-respecting man is going to accept that. Not really. I mean, look, I'll say that with the experience of having been there before. Yeah, I have been there before. And at the time, it's not that you see it from not having any self-respect. And it might not even be from the aspect of you're trying to be a Captain Save-A-Ho. You're just trying to, I guess, provide for someone that you feel a level of empathy and sympathy for. Maybe they were dealt a hard deck of hands, a hard deck of cards, sorry, or a hard hand of cards, and they've had to juggle what they could do their best with that hand. Maybe. At the same time, it's like, if they've been dishonest and deceitful, what makes you think they're not going to do the same to you? You're nothing special, really. Again, you got to remember, there's thousands of simps out there that will happily throw money at women just because they themselves are lonely, they're insecure, they want love, and you can't buy love. That's the thing, you can't buy it. And with these women like that are just so blatantly, I suppose, wrong on so many levels, who, despite wanting to get off of dating apps and find their Prince Charming, there's nothing that much charming about them either. And this is how they blow themselves out of the water with the equation. Then, of course, you call it out and it's like, oh, well, you just don't like women. It's like, no, I just don't like women like that. Right? People that are going to be deceitful and not be totally honest from the get-go. Make sure you're always on the same page with these people. Always. And if you ain't on the same page, pick up a different book. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll wrap this one up for now, but yeah, some people, man. Anyway, thoughts, comments, and opinions, feel free to jot them down. Thank you all for listening. Till the next one, stay cool, stay free, peace out.